Yo, what up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Millennials versus the World, man. I think this is our third panel so far. We're doing it every other week. Appreciate everybody that's been checking in with us, man. I got Jay with me. I got Asia with me. I got Brittany with me. I got Princess. Lewis will be kicking in a little later. So we're going to start straight off the hip today, man. So we can kind of get what's her name? Is it Lauren Pippen? Is it Lauren? So Scottie Pippen's ex-wife went on a person talk show that I can't remember and said she had to have sex 4 times a night for 23 years. We're gonna spend this first couple of minutes on this topic and then we could kind of move on. But so I'll give my initial thoughts. I feel like that's a bit aggressive. Like, no wonder why he had back problems. No wonder why he was injury reserve a little bit. No wonder why my man was missing out seasons. But what's y'all thoughts on that? 4 times a night for 23 years. Even though I don't think it was every night, but 4 times a night for 3 years.
4 times a night or 4 times a week?
No,
she
said
4
times
a night.
23
she said a
years.
night.
Yeah.
That's what, 28 times a week?
That's wild.
Yeah.
She must do some type of rejuvenation, something, on a monthly basis. She has to.
So long story short, if y'all man asks for that, he can't get 4 times a night.
That's a lot.
Every night? No, absolutely not.
Boy, oh boy, no.
Get somebody else to do it.
For real.
Come on now.
You gonna pass the torch.
Come on now.
He probably would.
No, come on now. So what is it? So how would y'all handle that balance with that crazy request like that though? And let's not say he's rich like Scottie Pippen, but how would y'all handle that request? I don't think that's really a question for me and Jay. Good gracious.
No. That's how I handle it.
just straight out. No,
that's really not fair like that. Like,
that's not fair. Excuse me, what? No,
like a compromise. You just said no. It can't be a compromise. Like, you ain't even say like.
So what you think? Yeah. You thinking like 3 times a night?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking like however many times I feel like that's the thing. Like, you got to know who you're marrying. I feel like maybe that's a conversation they could have had, or maybe they didn't have, and she just kind of, I don't know, her libido kind of jumped up. Whatever it is, I just kind of feel like there is no compromising when it comes to you not being realistic with your ask. Like, that's not realistic. 28 times a week is not a night. Like, every single night, 4 times a night, that's not realistic. That's for me.
Well, she did it. That's
for 23 years. That's insane.
That's love.
But then in my mind, it's love. Like I have questions though, because like, was there ever infidelity in their marriage? Like, they're not even married anymore. So it's like, you did all of that for what?
Right.
He was probably one of them nasty dudes that do stuff that she had to sign a non-disclosure after they got away. Right. That's just not normal, yo. I don't care who you are.
And how long was it? Like, how long were these?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, the energy level.
Were they like 5 minutes a session, or like
4 quickies a night?
Yeah.
Yo, come on. I ain't even getting into that. Know. So 4 times. So 4 times a night is too much.
She get thrashed out for 4
always go left, bro. Like, no, I'm not. I
thrashed out.
No, she get thrashed out nightly.
Yo,
4 times, bro. That's insane. No, that's for 23 years.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm not like, besides that 4 quickies a night. Like, yeah, that you gonna have somebody.
No, but realistically, if this was really happening, my mind would be, what would happen on that week that she couldn't do it?
If there is a week that she couldn't do it.
That's why I was thinking that she never skipped it.
There had to have been a week that she couldn't do it. Yeah. She's a woman.
Yes.
Well,
no, you can run that red light.
It depends on.
Yeah, you can run that red light.
I'm saying.
If he don't care about you doing it, he don't care about that red light.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm telling you right now, he don't believe in
for sure
cameras or nothing.
Sure.
No flash cameras or nothing.
You won't go 4 times a night. You that's nothing.
Oof.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah. All right. So back to Jay's request of his ladies. Off of that and on to
yeah, right. I've been there like, I have nothing. I ain't got nothing left for you.
That's another thing, bro. That's
done.
another thing. You would be shooting blanks by day 2, 7th
Bro.
round. Like that ain't no, like that's another thing. Like that ain't you not. No,
You got basketball practice all like no, something's not adding up.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
not doing that hooping. And then she said even on a away trip,
Jay,
she said we
what
never
does playing
spent time
basketball
apart.
got to do with sex?
Bro, he ain't tired from all of
He
that.
should
and
be
then you thrashing
tired,
out for 4 times a
exhausted.
night.
Right.
All right. Enough about Scottie Pippen, right? Jay, because Jay is thrashing out. So today, I don't know if it was Brittany or Asia, but the next thing is their fault. They put something in the chat today that I thought was an interesting conversation. They talked about how the standard for active dad and active mom were a different thing. So an active mom is like basically an active mom is really a regular parent, what they should be doing, but she doesn't get the credit because she's mom. And the active dad is like the 2-timing dads that, you know, get them every other weekend, take pictures, and it's like, oh my God, I love to see it. It's basically what I got from the video was like, do it for the gram. They take pictures, but they're not really there when the things matter. Taking them to the doctors, knowing they teachers, showing up to meetings, et cetera, et cetera. Do you all feel that the standard for dad to mom is different?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is different and why?
Why do y'all feel that way?
Yeah, I'm ready to argue on this.
You said
Well,
the standard.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
it was a standard is different, right? That's the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Princess.
I think I'm thinking about it more so from a single parent perspective.
Mhm.
Okay.
When you think about it from a single mother's perspective, I feel like the standard is a lot higher for that mom. Now, there are some single fathers who have full custody of their kids, but speaking from single mothers, I feel like the bar is like up here. That's the person that's going to the doctor's appointments, going to the teacher conferences, the taking the child to practice after school, picking them up, you know, doing all of that. And then yes, the child may have an active father in the life in the child's life, but to the point in the video, it's more so like, oh, I just see you on the weekends, or you know, I may come to one of your games on the weekend. They're not there getting the child ready for bed at night and fixing dinner and doing all those things that I just listed that the mom does. So that's what I took away from the video. But if you look at it from like a 2-parent household, then the standard may change or be a little bit different. Like the child may want to be with the father more. I think, Keenan, I think you kind of touched on that in your situation before. So like it may look a little different if you have 2 people in your household.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I agree with what Princess is saying, but I also want to add in too. Yeah, you said a 2-parent household, but I think that's where the dynamic change when you go to single mother and everything. Because if you were a 2-parent household, and let's say you go through a divorce or separation, it takes the dad out of the house from being a full-time active father to becoming that weekend dad, to becoming, so he can't, the bath that he was giving that child every night, he can't do that anymore. So sometimes people are pulled away from that status, and it's not seen as, it's just like, oh yeah, you're a weekend dad now. But it's like, yeah, but I was a full-time active dad. But the situation caused me to be this way now. But I think that some fathers get looked at like, yeah, well, you get the easy way out. It's like, well, I didn't choose this, because at the end of the day, when I was there, these things were being taken care of.
I agree. It's definitely situational. For that, I feel like if you were there's a lot of ways around that, right? Like, so there's court, there's time sharing and things like that to ensure that you are being the active father and getting, if you have a crazy mom, if you have a crazy dad, whatever the situation is, there are things put in place so that to ensure that you are being active in the child's life. Now, when we talk about, I wholeheartedly believe that it's the single parent household, or even single parent household is viewed at a little bit differently, because even if time sharing is in place, let's say, or you guys came to a mutual agreement, you get 1 week, I get 1 week, whatever it is, I still feel like dad is not taking off of work to go to school meetings that the child, sorry, y'all, my camera's acting up, that the child may have, or doctor's appointments, or urgent care. Like when a kid gets sick in school, they call in mommy, come pick me up. Like they call daddy. Sometimes daddy's not available because he's working. I kind of feel like, I mean, not to blame the father, right? There are some single fathers that have to do these things, like Princess is saying, but it comes with kind of like the dad being the provider of the house, going to work. I got to make sure ends meet. They're already, that's their nature, versus mothers are more like the nurturers. They're even in a two-parent home, like a child falls and gets a boo-boo, they're gonna run to both parents, but they look to mommy for kisses and for kisses on the boo-boos, and then they look to daddy for like, man up, toughen up, you'll be all right, wipe it off, shake it off, whatever it is. So I just feel like the roles can be kind of different, but when we're talking about who's active and who's not, it's the responsibility of each parent, whether it's the mother or the father to pull up and take responsibility for their actions. So when we talk about standards, yeah, I do feel like mothers kind of almost feel more inclined to kind of take on that responsibility than fathers to really sit back and be like, that's a mother, like she got it at the end of the day. She is knowing some in some situations, not all. She got it. The kid's gonna be taken care of because mom is gonna be a mom. She's gonna do what she needs to do, which is nurture that child.
So do y'all think that do you think mothers are willing to active dad and active mom? So like, I'll say this to the video, when we watch the whole thing, he kind of got it. So single parent household perspective from the video, I don't think he was talking about a dad that was trying to be more than just a weekend dad. So I do think there's dad that's okay with the weekend dad. I get him this weekend, I do me, da. But the other side of that is, and from things I've seen personally, and like some things you see play out, a lot of moms aren't willing to relinquish, I don't want to say control, but relinquished enough to let a dad be as active as he was, like a true co-parenting model where, like, if I've always been there and I can't go from being there to just the weekends, do you see a lot of moms willing to do a week here, a week there? Like, are a lot of moms willing to be away from their baby for that full week or away from their baby for that full summer? So I feel like when I said in the chat, like, I think truly active dads suffer in that sense, because it's like, ain't no mom going to like, oh, you know what? You need both of us. You go there for a week, you come here for a week. A lot of times it's a battle to be there for your child. Even if you've proven that you are there for the right reasons and you do all the doctor's appointments, the calling out and things like that. Like, and I think what you all are saying is very true. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll even give it this perspective from a two-parent household. Like, literally earlier today when I was rapping with my wife about it, she was like, yes. Now, granted, I tell her she's a great mom. What up, Lewis?
What up, Lewis?
I tell her she's a great mom all the time. I tell her how great she is. But honestly, I get more praise on being a great dad than she does on being a great mom. So I agree that there's a different standard there. Like, even from our families, like, yeah, she's a great mom. She's doing the damn thing. But I get more of the checks because it's like, the whole dad thing, right? But I asked her, like, hey, if it all ended tomorrow, can they come a week with me, 2 weeks with me, 2 weeks with you? And she was like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm there yet. So, like, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that? Because I don't think moms is just letting their babies go. I don't care how good the dad is.
I mean, I don't think you can. Let me not spray myself. I don't think you can. I think like a mom is like you protect your baby cubs. Like, those are your they came from you, and I'm just telling you from a woman's perspective. That's what we think about, like, we're consistently praying for our kids when they go out in the streets, and there's two different dynamics in a household. A father plays a certain role, but a mother plays another role. And I feel like a part of that role is that goes back to just being women in general, being this emotional creature, right? Like, we just connect, and it's kind of like, it's not that I don't trust you with my I'm saying my Lord, I had to unlearn my, right? And I had to learn to say our child, because that's the way that's just natural. That's a perfect example right there. I'm sitting here saying mine because you just feel very territorial, if that's the word. I don't know a good word for it.
So is it birthing them that really separates the bond between mom and dad?
No, I don't think so.
So like, but why can't we feel the same way then? Like, why can't we have that same type of protection feeling, that same type of nurturing feeling? If you said that no, birthing them doesn't give you all the higher connection. So why can't we feel that same way and feel just as strongly and feel like we're the parent they need to be with?
I didn't say that you can. I think that you can. I'm just saying that my feelings are stronger, and the answer is no. Like that's what it is. We can both feel the same way about something, but I'm not doing it. Like I just don't. That's just what it is. It doesn't make your feelings any less.
I think I'll say this too, because like I have friends that have, that have kids that are married and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've heard from like some of the moms, right, it's kind of like when the baby was just born and all that stuff, the mother was more attentive and the father was more scared of like, well, the baby's so fragile. I don't want to, I don't want to break the baby. I don't want to. And so the dads are more protective. Yes. But protective to a point where it's like, okay, you're the mom, you got that mom thing going on, that mother's intuition. I'm gonna just let you take care of it because the baby's so small, they're so fragile. I don't want to break the baby, and because of that, then the moms are like, okay, well, I'll just take care of it. I'll just take care of this or that, and so then because the mom has now been the one that's taking care of this fragile creature, it's now second nature to them. Whereas for dads, they've just been observing mom do that because they were being protected because they didn't want to break the baby, but now that's caused a divide. So now moms are like, I got it. See, because now I'm going to have to teach you how to do it. And I don't have patience because my baby's crying, but and now I just know how to do it. So let me just do it because the baby's crying. I know that cry because the baby needs milk right now. You don't know that cry yet because I've been the one dealing with that cry. So let me just come along, just sit and watch. I don't have patience right now because my baby needs something. And I think that's kind of where that comes. So then later on, when it's like, okay, dad, here you go. It's like, oh my gosh, does he even know how to do some of these things that I've been the one to do from the beginning?
Okay, interesting. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So what happens when the baby gets 10 or 11 and they're like, I want to live with dad. Like it's time for to let that baby fly. And they want to go with, oh, that's cool. Brittany, that's cool. That's like, you go ahead and go.
Brittany said,
I don't believe
Brittany
that.
said, get up out of here.
I do not believe. I don't believe.
You want to know why? Listen.
Yeah, I do. Because I don't believe
when a baby is small, like we're talking about a baby or even a toddler, right? They don't know how to speak for themselves. They cannot contact me. They cannot reach me if something goes down. That's just that protective, whatever we just talked about. Asia made a valid point. Men normally support their wives, girlfriends, baby mamas, whatever, during the first stages of birth, whatever it is. So we literally pick up on cues. We literally pick up on like different expressions, whatever it is that our baby's trying to communicate to us. So now I am giving a toddler, I'm divorced, separated, broke up, whatever. I'm literally giving something that can't talk, can't whatever, to this person that I laid down with, right? That has not fully picked up how to talk, communicate with this child, and expect for him to then learn or understand what's going on. If something happens I'm not saying you won't call. I'm not saying you don't know how to call 911. I'm not saying any of those things. However, it's just a matter of when they're 10 or 11 and something happens, or they need to tell mommy something, or they need to tell daddy something. They're able to do that. They're able to communicate with their mouths, or they have phones or whatever it is that you use, but they're able to talk to you about things. Babies can't do that. They cannot.
But how can a man actually sit there and learn those things and do those things if when the opportunity comes, the first thing you say is move, I got it. Don't worry about it, I got it.
But that's
and I know it's like you're saying it because like you feel like you may say, Asia said, I know that cry, right? That means that they're hungry, right? How do we know that he didn't pick up that cry and know that?
Again, that goes back to the point, being the observer, right, and the supporter. You are learning just as much as we are. However, y'all be real for a second, and maybe this didn't happen. How many times when a baby was born did y'all ask the mom or your wife or whatever a question like, oh, what do I have to do here? Or what do I have to do there? There's been times where I don't know the answer either. We're both learning together, or we Googling or something, right? But a lot of the times you don't find the woman go to dad and be like, how do I this? No, we're kind of naturally just figuring that thing out versus y'all are more so like, okay, let me check in to see with mom if this is okay or if I'm doing this right. That's a natural instinct for, I think personally, for a
No, that's
mother
true.
than it is for a father.
That's true.
I agree. I think the natural instinct part comes from different parts of, like, the natural instinct comes in different ways. You know what I mean? Mine was very, like, my younger brothers were young enough. I was old enough and they were young enough that I was around like babies. You know, I wasn't doing everything, but I wasn't as scared when my kids came out. I wasn't like, oh my God, no, you hold them, how to hold them type vibe, right? But I do think there are things that my wife, they weren't really caretaking specific, the things that were natural for her, if that makes sense. It wasn't like the wiping the diapers, wasn't the cry, learning that. It was more of like the way her patience grew, the way she kind of handled the child in general versus like things that, you know, that stuff didn't scare me, like swaddling, you know, holding the baby, feeding the baby, learning this cry mean that, So the thing that I really get passionate about this topic is like, can we agree that the playing field coming to parenting is somewhat evening out? More dads are doing their responsibility like they should more often. Mm-hmm. And I'm not praising nobody for doing what you should be doing if you had a kid, right? But it's like, how can that playing field ever be even, or like, how can it be even? Are we going to acknowledge that it'll never be even if, like, I never have the same right when it comes to the baby and mom? You get what I'm saying? Like, I'll never have that. Mm-hmm. And it's not really based off anything. That's why I asked you earlier, like, is it because you birthed them that gives you, if you would have said, yeah, I'm like, okay, shoot, I can't argue with that. Like my argument with breastfeeding, I can't really say nothing. I can't tell what you like. I can't, all that pumping and all that, I can't do nothing about that. But when my kids are off that, I got a little more wiggle room, because it's like, oh, well, that's nothing's exclusive to anyone. It's about whose skill set is better. So, like, how do we even that playing field? Because I feel like dads will never win in that case. And I don't feel like moms are always right. And I'm not necessarily calling them wrong, but it feels like naturally they have everything to say no. And we kind of got to roll with it. Because if you don't, you might not see that baby. I'm just trying to figure out how we even out the playing field as dads.
They carry the baby for 9 months. Like, they have a 9-month head start?
But
you saying that there's no way to even that playing field, Lewis?
I'm not going to say it's the way to even it. I just think that initially there's an advantage. Like, one thing I noticed with my wife, you know, when she was pregnant, is that she already kind of knew my children's schedule, because that was the same schedule that she had. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just, intuitively, instinctively, they kind of develop these things naturally, and they kind of have a head start. They kind of know what makes them queasy, what they crave, things of that nature. So there's so many advantages to it for them that I think that kind of puts us behind the 8 ball, things we have to figure out later. But I was going to ask you a question. When you said you feel like more dads are, being more engaged, earlier on, is that a community specific? Is that just in our community, or are you just looking at that as a whole? Because I think that I would say that's the case for our community for sure.
So I think in other communities, there's a lot of presently absent dads. Like, there's a lot of dads that are in the house, but not really doing it to how we believe. And that's outside of our community,
absolutely.
Right? But to your point, I am speaking on ours, but I think like our dad, like I can use my friends, right? My inner circle, and I go outside that circle. Like, we're learning it the right way. You know what I mean? And this is a thing that I was debating. I debate a lot. I was debating, like, I feel like parents that are not together, that have a great co-parenting plan, it's easier than it is with 2 parents in the house. I feel like parents that are not together, that got a good co-parenting plan, it's like, it's damn near like you have things breaks embedded where you can burn out, but right before you burn out here, you're not really having the power struggle of the day-to-day like this. You know what I mean? So like us as dads, we're learning it the right way. So that's why I always ask, like, how do we even the playing field? Because like, I'm not even going to use my situation. I'm not going to use like nobody, but like I see for a lot of the people around me, we are doing those things, right? Like, I get the 9-month head start, but like, we are doing those things. And I feel like the feeling of that may not be enough if it ever came down to it. Is kind of like, damn, what can I really do to prove? Now, granted, people gonna have to be mature and get a co-parenting plan together, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel that strongly too, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like my baby should be with me. Now, I ain't gonna try to take away from their mother, but I feel like my baby should be with me, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think if you have like a strong like a strong bond with your child though, because like I'm just thinking from like a therapeutic perspective, I guess. Just like even thinking about like attachment, right? So like now I've seen like videos and stuff of dads doing creative things to almost like mimic certain bonds that only can take place between mother and child, right? So for instance, breastfeeding, right? That's how, when you think about it, when the baby's hungry and when they look up, they're seeing mom. If the baby's sleepy and mom is the one, they're looking up, they see mom. If the baby's crying and mom is, they're looking up, they see mom. So they are now like equivocating, like my basic needs are met by mom. Right. So thinking about, I've seen like men, they have like these, they hold them over their shoulder a little bit. And it's like a little boob, like a plastic boob. And it has milk, but it's so that the dad, so that the dad
I ain't
can
seen
also,
I'm not doing
I've seen it. So the dad can also mimic, that thing. And granted, they don't have to put it over their chest. It's a thing, y'all. But see what I'm saying? But y'all already said you're not willing to do it. So that's already letting me know that there is something that might be out of the box that can at least level the playing field a little bit, so that when your child is hungry, when your child is sleepy, you can then mimic that space for them, that when they're looking up, they see your faces, right? Like, so I think it's going to,
I lay them down and make a bottle
something. No, and that can work too, but I'm just thinking of the initial, because you have to understand, bonds are created as soon as baby comes out. They're now able to put, and they're able to recognize shapes and faces and voices and all these different things. So if you haven't been talking to your child, right, while the child's in the mother's belly, they're not going to recognize your voice the same way that they will their mom. There are things that men, I think, should be doing way early on, so that those bonds are created. So now the child then, as they get older, they'll at least give mom a choice of like, no, I want to go with dad. I want to go with dad. Not thinking, oh, well, dad's not going to show up. Because then they're going to feel like dad doesn't give me security. Then they're not going to want to go with dad. Then it'll be like mom is forcing. Because how many times have y'all heard single moms say, that baby don't even want to go with you? Every time that baby's crying, every time they have to go with you. A mom then is not going to feel safe enough to then send her kid with a man that her child doesn't even feel comfortable going with. At least give your child a fighting chance to at least advocate for wanting to be with the other parent.
Okay, I respect it.
That's very fair.
Anything else on parenting? Even so we're gonna get into the DMs that I received that people want to talk about. So this is people's typing. So forgive me if I catch. All right. So this is the first one. Hey y'all, I love. I think they meant I watch a lot of the panel. I have a 2-part thought / question. For single people, do you think it's realistic to date / entertain more than one person at a time if you're really trying to get to know someone? Married people, what separated your spouse from the field? Thank y'all.
That's a good question.
I'm not going first. I'm not going first.
What was the question? The question was.
So I'll read it again.
Go ahead.
The 2-part question was, it says, for the single people, do you think it's realistic to date / entertain more than one person at a time if you're really trying to get to know someone? Married people, what separated your spouse from the field?
I'm giving my 2 cents on my
Nah, bro, that's $1. That ain't 2 cents. That's $1, boy. Go ahead.
She got pregnant. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yo, I hate Lewis.
Lewis won't be back next Monday.
He ain't, bro.
He's like, nah.
That's it for him.
No, what really happened was that that was a person I enjoyed spending my time with, and before I knew it, that was where I was. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, that's just where I was led. That's where my heart led me. you know, my comfort zone. I mean, could be more of myself with her, the most of myself with her early on. And and we had a genuine connection. I mean, you guys can attest to that, you two, you know. And
that's a fact.
that's just how it ended up. And it's still like that to this day. When we're not around the kids, I see that same person I met, you know, 11, 12 years ago. So that's what separated. And that's how I was able to meet that beautiful woman, you know, call my wife.
Hey, boy, that boy
Look
cleaned
at
that
that,
up.
man.
Hey, you cleaned that up
He
well,
made up,
Mike.
yeah, he
Look at
cleaned
that
that
boy.
right on up.
That boy
Damn,
right there.
Mike.
Hey,
Give Lewis a broom.
It's true though.
I'm telling you.
All right. So I actually, I'm still not going yet, but I got an opinion on both the single and the married part. Anybody else? I'm not going yet. You know what I'm saying? Jay, Princess Asia. For single people, what can you really entertain more than one person if you're really trying to get to know them?
You can. I mean, it really just depends on the person.
Okay.
You can. I would say, honestly, if you're really trying to be intentional about getting to know someone, I would say no more than 2.
Okay.
But I mean, especially where we are in our lives, we're busy, we have careers, some of us have kids or whatever. Like,
Right.
I'm tired and I'm busy. Like, I can't do 5 of y'all. Like, come on,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
enough's enough. So, like, I feel like a good 2. I feel like that's realistic because I don't feel like you should put all your eggs in one basket. So,
Okay.
but if you want to do one at a time, that's fine as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Miss Asia,
Yeah,
Jay.
I think in today's dating world, like, it's definitely you have to entertain more than one. And the reason being is that you will sit there and, you know, start talking to somebody, getting to know them, obviously, and then you'll find out that they're entertaining more than one person. And then, you know, you kind of feel a certain type way, you know, because everybody doesn't think like you do. You may want to be in a monogamous relationship, and other people are just kind of wait. They could have gotten out of a long-term relationship and they're just trying to weigh their options right now. They don't want to be locked down. So just learning, everybody's at a different level. I think in today's dating world, that's just what it is right now.
Mm. So, so you think it is realistic to like try to get to know somebody, talk to and entertain multiple people while you're trying to
because eventually something is going to strike more interest to say, wait a minute, I need to take this more serious and focus on this here, whatever that is. You know,
you're gonna end up having a favorite. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we got some pimps on this line right here, boy.
And
You said we got some
because
I said we got some pimps on this thing right.
No, but
right here,
but it's true though. And I even think in this era, like kind of what Jay's saying, like I think about like the Hinge era, right? It's like because I've seen a lot of very successful relationships that started off Hinge. But when you think about the way Hinge operates and even a lot of these things, it's not like you're just picking one. You literally have a catalog and you're swiping and all that stuff. And then you're having conversations with multiple people. And then from there, it's like, okay, you almost like filter folks out. I think especially the older we get. And I think ultimately you do have some of those same conversations, you know, it becomes a little mundane, but then it's like, oh, wait, okay, but he really makes me laugh. Okay, but we really get to go and we have those deep conversations. And then you just start, I think over time, you do have a favorite that you just gravitate towards.
You got to figure out what you want. Like, I feel like that's a process. You got to figure out what you don't like and what you do like, you know? So
it got to be at the same time, though.
Yeah.
When?
Or like Princess said, you can do it one at a time.
No.
Yeah, it depends on what works for you. I feel like.
Brittany, what do you mean no though? Like
Brittany
we got some pimps on this thing, but
Brittany, how many?
Hey, Brittany watched her strong.
No, because I feel like I can talk to both points. I feel like you shouldn't, right? You can talk to one person at a time, but I feel like you shouldn't. My husband, for instance, he wasn't the only one. And he's very aware of that at the time when we started talking, right? When we were talking before we started dating and making it official and exclusive. Yes, I was talking to multiple people. And then through time, like I gradually got to learn, I saw consistency. I saw whereas he was showing me a little bit more than what other people were showing me. But not only that, he taught me things about myself that I did not know, right? So when I was with one dude, I felt like I had to act a certain way or I had to live to a certain standard. It was fun, we connected, but also, but with my husband, it was more like, you can still be yourself and connect to this person. So to the second question, how did he like kind of, squeeze himself out of that situation and kind of step above the rest. It was more so the genuine connections that you find. To Lewis's point, just being able to be yourself, I think is so important. It's key. Like I can let my hair down. If I'm having a bad day, listen, I don't put on makeup and hair combed and all the time. Sometimes I'm just in my element in pajamas with a natural face and whatever. And my husband still tells me that I'm beautiful. Like every single day, he doesn't miss a beat or a chance to tell me, like, Brittany, you woke up, you did this. He prays with me. We're very spiritual people. So he prays every morning, all these types of things. That's what I wanted for me and a partner. And that's kind of what I saw in him, right? Or he saw in me and vice versa. We met each other. So it wasn't no 50-50, it was 100-100. We put our all into the relationship. And that's what kind of singled him out. So yeah, I do feel like you should start out at the same time talking to, I'm like Princess, I wouldn't juggle 5, maybe 2, right? And then kind of weeding out what you like and what you don't like, if it's a fit for you.
So, all right, so I'm gonna jump on both ends. I'm gonna go. So I think if you really, really, really trying to, so I'm gonna go with the marriage part first. So I'll say this. I think when we were younger, early 20s, mid 20s even, I think like we had the luxury of quote unquote puppy love. I don't think we had the pressure of like knowing all the things we knew now, and like we had to, like, the ignorance is bliss like work for us. We didn't know all this serious stuff then, so we didn't view it from such a like, nah, this got to be this, that, and the third. So we had the luxury of like you saying, building genuine connections, and you didn't have to think more past of like, do I like this person? Like, is this person a vibe? Da da da. So for my thing, I think my biggest, it's gonna sound so simple, but I think my biggest thing is like I didn't have to change who I was. Like it wasn't no pressure of like, you do. And when I say that, it's not like I was a bad person. I was doing things I didn't need to do. It's like personality wise, like just as crazy as I act here, anybody that know me, I act just as crazy with my wife right beside me.
That's a fact.
I don't do saying crazy shit. I say that when she with me, and it was like a lot of at the beginning, it was never like, oh my God, don't be in here. It was more like, hey, look, if you start up, leave me alone. Don't bring me in it. It was like more of that. So I think like me being younger and not having the pressure of like when I fell in love, it wasn't like I wasn't thinking about he is none of that. Like, then I love it. We okay, we can get engaged. Hell, and then what you gotta do is just ask somebody to marry you. It wasn't like the formalities of how everything is now, half and half. Who gonna do? Man, we ain't think about none of that. So
yeah, it's true.
The thing that separated her from a lot of people, it wasn't like a lot of people would be trying to like quote unquote, a lot of women, please forgive me, be trying to control. And I'm not that guy. Like I'm going to do right by you because I rock with you. I don't need you to try to make me do anything. Because if I'm not doing it, that means I don't want to do it. Like, and if I am doing it, that means I do want to do it. So what separated my wife, it wasn't like that control factor. She embraced me, and in turn, it helped me become what I am today. So I was dating her on the back end. I was a part of a team that I found out later that I ain't really like. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, what's going on? She was the first person to tell me, like, yeah. So I thought it was one other guy. You feel me? I had to roll with that. I couldn't be mad. But like, she was the first person to tell me, like, yeah, let me tell you right now, I'm talking to somebody else. Huh? I ain't like that. I'm gonna be honest. I did not like that. Dude's gonna act all like swollen in the chest.
Yeah.
No, I ain't like what? And the first initial reaction was like, yo, yeah, we have to figure this out because I'm not doing this. Because I'm gonna tell you what used to burn me up. Like when that phone would be face down, that sucker ring. Then like, you know what I'm saying? I know it was like, you know what I mean?
You were right there with her. Kenny getting real though.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm going down memory lane real quick, y'all. So like,
hey, you sweating, ain't you?
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what used to really make me mad. She was super. The dude. I mean, I won, so I could talk about it. But the dude right in front of me that she was talking to last, right before me, it used to make me mad because she was OD into him at the beginning, and we were just cool. But like, she didn't know how much I liked her. So like, little stuff like that, I would see like the phone being down. I hear that buzz. It wouldn't even be like a mute. It'll be a look face down. And then like the first couple of times, like, it wasn't even like no discretion. Like, I'm about to dip. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like I
About to
was
get on up out of there.
because I wasn't applying a lot of pressure. Like I had just got out of a
I see
relationship.
you, homie.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? So like I had to
Hey,
get
Jim.
yo, like
Hey, I'm
She
about to
dabbed
go
you up,
outside.
Keenan.
huh?
She dabbed you up, Keenan.
No, she might as well.
He said, all right, man.
I invited you to play. I never get this. Y'all got me up here talking. I never
Hey,
get.
no,
We
this
up
is
here,
some
you know what
funny
I'm
shit here. But go,
You know what I'm saying? I never get, man. Her friend, which I was cool with, I asked her to tell her to come to the room, play spades or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Real low key. I had just got out of a situation from high school anyway, so I was cooling. I'm thinking these spades fun. This nigga phone ringing like 10 minutes later. Can we hurry this up? Like, I'm like, oh shit, like nigga just got next. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't aggressive yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't aggressive yet. And I'm figuring like, oh no, this nigga did not. Now, when that happened at the beginning, the conversation about talking to somebody else didn't happen yet, but I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? And this is what changed the game. This is a true story. Then I'm gonna shut up. This is a true story.
No, this is good.
So we dating a little bit. I get out of a situation. She was giving me the like, we cool, but you just got out of dating somebody. I don't want to be no rebound. Woo, woo, woo. But I can read vibes. I can read signs. So like we're hanging out often. Like Lewis said, like the time is starting to be spent together, right? Mm-hmm. So the dude was still in the picture. She was very honest, like, and she kept calling me her friend. Like, this is my friend Keenan. We kissing in the mouth, but you keep calling me my friend in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool, but we kissing in the mouth, and then you saying kissing in the mouth. Like, we need to determine
kissing
what friends
mouth,
do.
Bro.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to figure out what's going on. No lie. So,
yeah, you a savage.
I'm like, sit down at the table, you know, her friends. I'm like, yeah, this is my friend Keenan. I'm thinking, we just kissed right outside the cab, and you tell me whatever. So we cool, we date, we homecoming comes around, and this is when I knew I won. So I'm putting in work, being cool, knowing their little class schedule, pulling up, doing all that stuff, right? So homecoming night, it was when homecoming used to be popping. Trey Songz was there, right? And she hit me like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna come by there. I was partying with my brother. She's like, after the concert, I'm gonna come by. Me being sprung, I'm at the party. She texts me. I dipped straight to the dorm. I'm up out of here, right? So because y'all want to laugh earlier, I need y'all to laugh at this too. So when she got back to the room, it's like 2 a.m. I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? Me, it's about to go down. That ain't happening. That did not happen. So we in the dorm, and boom, the phone ring.
Golly.
Bro, at this point, I know I'm winning. She kissed me in the mouth. She's chilling with me almost every night. Like, bro, if she doing this with 2 dudes, like, I'm just gonna be stuck on stupid. So she picks up the phone.
A win.
She picks up her phones and rolls her eyes and said, I'm not gonna say the brother name, and rolls her eyes and said, what such and such? I'm in Keenan's room. Yeah, nigga, what you want now? What you got to say now? Nigga, what you got to say now?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So she
a win is a win, my boy.
Like, a win is a win.
You feel me? She's like, I'm in Keenan's room.
Oh, Jesus.
Shit, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, she's still in your room. She's still in your room.
Heavy, bro.
Hey, look.
Yeah, she's still in his room.
She's still in your room.
You feel me?
Still in your room right now.
And this is when I knew I won. This is the end of the story. A week later, we sitting in the caf. We going to lunch. We do our thing. We go to lunch. We go to dinner early because the craft be too crowded at A&T. So you go early day. I walk off and I'm coming back, and there's a dude sitting at the table beside her. I'm like, okay, you know, the Keenan in me, what's going on? But she also taught me how not to be insecure when you know you win it. So I sit down. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I sit down like, yo, and she goes, Keenan, this is such and such, just Keenan. I was like, oh, what's up, bro? Because at this point, there was no need for me to have no animosity. There's no need to do that. Hey, she would have never introduced me. She would have never sat down like, Keenan. The rolling of the eyes was everything I need to know. Like, Keenan, this is him. The one that this is him. So that was the first time at a very young age that I realized, like, oh, she keep it a band all the time. Like, she introduced me to dudes, and I ain't never had that happen. And I felt like 10% of a way. But I told that story to say, like, I think those things, what she was doing is the difference in her now. So imagine that level of honesty as we evolve through life, if that makes sense.
Right.
Y'all got me on like a 10-minute story, bro. But yeah, that's what
It
separates.
was a good one.
That was a good
That was
one.
good, bro.
That was a good. Because I was
Yeah.
wondering why you were getting so passionate when we were like, yeah, you could take multiple people, and you was like, no,
No.
absolutely
Right,
not.
right.
And it's because she had you singing, "Oh baby, you."
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You got what I
kissing you in the
need.
mouth.
Just a
Kissing
friend.
you in the mouth. I said
Kissing you in the mouth.
Jesus, kissing you in the mouth.
Like what?
Kissing you
I
in
like
the
something
mouth.
your
Yo,
grandma would say.
yo, how that work?
Yo,
Hey,
kissing in the mouth.
kissing in the mouth. The cheek. This ain't the
A lot
porno.
of There's a lot of people that do a whole lot worse.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
look, but I'm saying this.
You was in there choking her,
No,
and
But
her
I'm
mama
saying,
was
though,
praying for her.
at that time, if I was kissing you in the mouth, I was rocking with you. If I wasn't rocking with you, I'm not kissing you in the mouth, bro.
That's
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah,
that's
like-
maturity.
That is, bro.
Yeah, like I'm not doing that. But yeah, I do think that you can. I just don't think you gonna, bro. Every line I just told y'all is a true story.
No, I think the funniest part to me is when you said that you got hot when she said, "Yeah, that's my friend." That part really is like funny as hell to me. Oh,
All
yeah, that's
I
my
heard was
friend.
you
Like,
say,
whoa.
"I'm just a friend."
Like,
You say, "I'm just-"
yo, and the thing that was killing me was I was literally used to look like when people walk away, like, I need an explanation or something. Conversations keep going. Yeah, so bye. Whoa. Like, what was that? But the lesson in it all was like I also didn't lock
I
it down.
can't drink my water.
Like, but the lesson in it was I didn't lock it down yet. I didn't say like, yo.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I ain't gonna tell you,
Yeah.
I'm singing.
Hey, he like, we friends. We over here sharing water, and we friends.
Yo, nah, that's different kissing in the mouth. You kiss somebody in the mouth, boy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Unless you just nasty, unless you a club kisser, then you just out here thought mouth.
Stop now.
Not
Thought mouth. You out your lips for everybody. You club kisser.
And them lips got mouths on
Nah.
them, bro. Chill,
Yo,
bro.
nah, bro. The club, nah,
Chill, bro.
nah, but so
You
I
got some
think
good clips for that. With that right there.
yo, nah, man, that took me back. I ain't never had a girl tell me I was a friend. Like what, boy?
That's
So-
crazy.
Does anybody else have anything on the dating single? Can you get to know nobody, or what separated people from the field?
I will say just real quick, the common theme in all this is the quicker you're your full self, your real self, the quicker you identify who is for you and who isn't.
That is real.
Oh man, that's
That
a
is
fact.
real.
That's the gist of everything that everyone has just said.
Yeah,
Is that's the root of it all.
Yep.
that is.
Facts.
So I'm gonna skip down to a little spicier one, and it's a question for the ladies. So, first of all, I don't even put nothing in my stories for people to talk like they in the chat. Hey y'all, question for the ladies. If I feel my boyfriend/partner is off and moving funny, am I justified to look through his phone? The recent road has been hard and he's never cheated, but I can tell something else has his attention. Am I justified to look through the phone?
No.
No.
You gonna get yourself hurt.
Yeah, you gonna get your little feelings hurt.
Y'all
right
never
on
looked through
up.
nobody's phone before?
You gonna get
Yeah.
yourself hurt.
Yeah, I've looked
I have
through
one,
somebody's phone
one
before.
time, and I said I would
Yeah, it was
never
one
do it
time.
again. I said I would
Mhm.
never do it again.
You already know if you have that instinct, if you have that gut feeling already, and if you even have to ask the question of should I, or if you're trying to justify the reason, then you have your answer already. You know, you shouldn't come to a point where you have to go through his phone to see if he's lying or telling the truth or not. That's just too much. Like it's just, and then it's true, as cliche as it sounds, like, oh, if you look, you know what you're looking for, like you're gonna see what you're looking for or get hurt, whatever it is. Very, very true. It's factual. Once you find out, you're ready to throw, like, just break, the world comes crashing down. It's true. I can speak for myself and say that did it once, and I have never, ever, ever done that again. If I have that feeling, then it's better to communicate that with you and just talk about it versus me going to search for it, because it's just not a good feeling. It's not a good place to be in.
Did you always
Yeah,
get the
'cause-
answer you was looking for when you asked, when you communicated and asked? Did you get something that helped you be off of what you were feeling?
No, not always. No, of
No,
course.
but it reveals itself eventually. Most
Mhm.
times
Mm-hmm.
might take longer with some, but it's gonna come out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I feel like men, they either become extremely defensive, like they feel like they have to defend like this, this thing or whatever. they make the conversation more about, and not say that they're not wrong in this, but they make the conversation then about the fact that you went through the phone rather than what was found in the phone.
Yeah.
To make you feel like you're the crazy one, where 9 times out of 10, he's been saying that he's been making you feel crazy all the way up until, and then you find this thing. Now the sad part is, I mean, you get burnt on either end, because let's say you find something, right? Now you hurt, but let's say you don't find something that one time, you're still not going to be satisfied, because you're going to be thinking, oh, he probably just deleted it. I'm going to just check it on a random other day. And you're going to find yourself keep wanting to search until you find something that validates what you're feeling. Because at the end of it, you just feel, you don't feel connected to your person, and you feel neglected by your person. That could be because he's doing something in the phone or not. But the way you're feeling is valid. That's the thing that needs to be checked, not necessarily his phone. Because if you find out that he finds out, now you burnt that bridge.
We missing one perspective, Kenan.
A guy's perspective.
Yeah, what if the woman searches out of her own guilt and not so much as being accusatory of him? What if it's her own guilt that's making her search?
Ooh wee.
Because she out there doing something.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So she trying to justify her thoughts, like, oh,
exactly.
Once I find something like, oh, I was doing this because I knew.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that happens too.
Yeah, it does happen.
Y'all be real modest when it's y'all fault.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think.
What are you saying?
9 times out of 10.
What do you mean?
When y'all in the hot seat, my bad. I ain't never seen Asia get spicy with me. I'm just saying, like,
you better chill, friend.
Asia got spicy. I'm saying, like, when the woman be in the like hot seat, it'd be like, oh, that can happen. Next question.
But that's what I'm saying, because that's why I'm getting like hyped, because I'm like, you mad because we're agreeing? But it's true. It really
I'm upset.
happen.
I'm upset because we assumed that it was because of the guy was doing something. That's not the first. You know,
because that's what she said. That was the question, though. We didn't make that up. The DM, the person that DM'd us said, because he was disconnected.
But I feel
don't do
like
that
most times.
Okay.
Sorry, I feel like most times if a woman goes to look for it because of something that she's doing, like, I feel like that doesn't happen that often. I feel like when women choose to cheat or step out or whatever.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, Princess, you have everybody's attention.
Yeah, go ahead.
I promise you.
Women don't feel that guilty once we make the decision to step out. We don't feel that guilty to go check after the fact, like, oh, now let me go see, is he doing something? Like 9 times out of 10, I don't think that's not really how women move. Some, but I don't think most cases. Like, if a woman already did it, it's like, I did it, and I'm not going to go check your phone now to see if it was okay for me to do it.
She may not check your phone. I do agree with
when a woman's mind is
made
up, it's made up. You said she may what?
I said she could project like those feelings and insecurities on you because she's doing that. So she could project that, like, oh, well, I feel like you out here messing around because she's doing it. She may not go through your phone, but they can project those things on you to try to fish and see what's going on. I think so. Not everyone does that, but
I don't think it will always come off. It's like, I think you're out here messing with people. What it probably will sound like is, see, you don't do this for me. You acting like you don't love me no more. How come you acting different now? It's gonna point out all the reasons why she's probably cheating on you. But it's not gonna be like you're stepping out. It's not, she wouldn't approach you like that. She would base it so that if you do find out, she's already giving you all the reasons why she did what she did.
Right. Okay.
Oh, you don't take me out no more. You're always with your boys. She's giving you reasons why she's pulling away and she's becoming distant. That's what it would look like.
Yeah, met Scottie Pippen.
So
it's over for you.
So I'm like, I'm not.
Oh boy. I was wondering if we were going to talk about that at some point.
Oh, we done talked about that.
Oh, we already talked about it. You missed it, Lewis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was the first topic.
Okay.
We don't want to go back.
The women said, hey, Lewis, the women said they just got to be available for it if that's what it takes.
The 4 times.
I'm just joking.
Now you know.
Lewis, I'm just joking.
Lewis about to be concerned about the women.
Yeah, Lewis like, whoa. Whoa!
Oh wow!
Lewis,
hold on. 4 times
just
a day.
Out of curiosity, what were you about to say? I just want to
No.
know what you were about to say.
Nah, bro. I just, I'm still processing. I just found out earlier today. I'm still processing that. You know what I mean?
That's a bit aggressive, bro. That's
Processing the 4 times or the 28 times a week?
It's the same thing, right? 4
that
times
way you
7
want
is
to flip
28.
it.
Okay, I didn't know which one you were trying to process because it's still the same thing.
So
Nah.
I feel like this. I'm gonna feel like this, and I hope she understands. This is not going to be a good look on men's communication skills all the time.
Oh God!
But this is going to be truthful. So the looking through the phone thing, I feel like I've learned in life what Prince has said. There's nothing, friendships, family, relationships. It's all gonna come out. It may not come out when you want, but it's all gonna come out. I think a lot of times, dude, moving funny, and the road has been hard. I don't think, and we don't always communicate. Let me speak for myself. I don't always communicate when I'm processing and figuring something really tough out. So me moving funny may be predicated on something that I'm going through individually, personally, that may be seen as seem like I'm not interested in you. And that's not the case. Because a lot of times when you're with somebody, it's hard to go through things independently because you always have those eyes on you that know when something's wrong. And my attention may be elsewhere because I'm trying to figure said thing out. My question would be, does you all's mind always go to something very negative when you feel like the attention is taken elsewhere? Do y'all feel like a woman mind goes straight to worst case scenario if her man is disconnected, quote unquote? Or do you feel like you all think what's wrong first?
It depends on the person. Depends on the dude that you're with. Like back in the day, my previous relationships, that's the first thing that I'm going to is you out here. Who is she? Where's she at? Where can I find her? Versus now, like in my marriage, my husband, if he's something, he could walk in this house right now and just kind of go straight to the room, get in the shower, like, oh, yo, what's up? And we're not connected. We're not speaking what's going on, what's wrong with you. And it could be genuinely just having a bad day or whatever it is. So I just feel like it's on the person. If they've shown you that side of them before, right? That ties into a whole nother conversation of you staying or not, right? If you chose to stay with this person and then you got this person working to do all these things to gain the trust back, whatever, but they come home and they're genuinely having a bad day, or they thought about their grandma that passed away last week and they're genuinely having a bad day. Like the first thought is not, oh, he's sad about something. The first thought is he's disconnected to me because he was just smashing Susie during lunch break because he's done that before, right? So I think it just depends on the person.
Okay. Hey, Asia Princess, I would like you all's opinion on that. Do you all's mind go worst case scenario when you feel disconnect?
It used to a lot, but it would be worst case scenario. Not always there's another woman involved. So sometimes it would be like there's another woman involved. Most times actually it would be he doesn't want to be with me anymore, but he's trying to figure out how. So it was less about somebody else, but more about him no longer wanting me. But I think now though, in my current situation, same as Britt, I think if there have been other conversations, just around like, because I'm very upfront, like, look, I'm an overthinker. So if you tell me it's going to take you an hour to get somewhere and you say you're going to hit me up when you get there and you don't, and it's about 3 hours later, in my mind, you're dead in a ditch. That's just how my brain works, but because it's real bad, but because I'm upfront about that, then my guy now, he's more communicative about that, so that my brain so now I don't even go to that place. It is more about like he'll tell me what's wrong before I can even ask him.
Okay.
But it's because we've had that conversation of like, hey, my brain does go to a dark place and it has nothing to do with another woman. For me.
So and I'm just asking you this, Asia, because you share, which I appreciate a lot, because I'm an overthinker as well. When we are overthinkers, are we as in group and me and you, is it our responsibility to learn how to not overthink, or our partner's responsibility to adapt to our overthinking?
I think it's a little bit of both. Because I do think that it's the partner's responsibility then to communicate certain things. to help me, honestly.
No, that's real. I'm with you.
But and also not being a crutch either.
Mm-hmm.
So then being able to communicate, you're doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I don't text you right away when I get somewhere does not mean I'm dead in the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
I might have forgotten or this or that, you know? So I definitely think it's on me ultimately because I'm the one that overthinks. But if I'm upfront about it and this person has then decided to be with me, right? Then it's like, well, yeah, but don't go like 10 hours without communicating with me. Because now in my mind, you know the consequences of that. You know what I mean? So I think it's a partnership. So I think the onus for sure is on me. But I think as my support person, you should also be supporting me and growing in that way, not being a detriment and helping me, you know, kind of go further down.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Any other overthinkers? Oh, Louis, for real, bro?
Yeah, I'm an overthinker for sure.
I would have never thought that one. So Asia, I'll go to your point. I've learned how to realize that overthinking is a part of my process. Like I'm gonna overthink for the first 5 minutes, and then after minute 6, I can get back to reality. Like it's real bad when something first happened, and I'm trying to figure it out. Boy, I do not need to be in contact with nobody. I do not need to talk to nobody because those thoughts that's firing off is like I got to get those away to get to my logical thinking.
Yes,
right.
Like I got to get through that to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I bet you most of the people that's close to me don't think I overthink. Like it's a quick 5 from stoplight to stoplight is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then when I get past that second stop, like, okay, what's really going on? You know what I mean? I've learned my wife's an overthinker too. I just learned that women's overthinking mixed with emotional led thinking, like is a abyss. Like
you trying to word that good,
what makes
boy.
me like,
yeah, he did. He tried.
You tried to word that was good.
He can't figure it out.
Like I'm just saying, because there's times, and I love my beautiful Black queens, but there's times where like overthinking with emotion will leave you like, how did we get here? Like, whoa, like,
hey man, Kenan, I can't agree.
You don't agree with me?
I'm trying not. No, I can't agree more. When you said the abyss, I laughed because I felt it in my soul, my brother. Because there've been times where decisions had to have been made, and I'm like, just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you all up in here with it and all over there with it. I'm like, just you know what I mean? And I'm an overthinker, but I'm the type like once I make my mind up, that overthinking's helped because now I've thought about every possible outcome for making this one decision.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm using that to my advantage.
Yeah.
But some people just have a process that I just cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
So when you say the abyss, I'm like, yes, that's the perfect explanation in word form. The abyss. Bro. I can't agree more.
And me and my wife, I don't know why I'm being like probably too honest. Like me and my wife's worst disagreements is like when we can't see something that's objective the same. Like the worst thing to me in marriage and real true relationships, me and Jay, we had this conversation. Me and this man got to arguing one day because like we would use words and I'm like, bro, that's not the definition of that word. Yeah, it is. But we couldn't see something that happened for what it was. It was this thing was in Cali and I was in North Carolina. I'm like, bro, did we not just see the same thing? And but I realized that no matter how objective or logical men are or emotional women are, our experience shape our perspectives too much to even try to like, unless you sit down and say like, hey, this means that in the context of this conversation, there's no need to try to assume that these things are like generalization of said things. Like, and the worst things me and my wife debate about is when we don't do the disclaimers. Like, when I say this in this conversation, it mean that. This mean that. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go from there. Because a lot of it is like, oh, hold on, what you mean by that? I'm like, whoa.
Exactly what I said. That's what I mean. The words that I used is what I meant.
Come on, Lewis. You trying to start something, bro?
Lewis,
This is
yeah.
You trying?
Every time, I knew it was a matter of
Hey,
time.
Lewis.
You
Hey, they
got
need
a
to stay in the
point.
house, don't they?
The words I use is exactly what I meant. Don't have to go to Google it. You know what I mean? It's exactly what
Yeah.
I said. There's
Yeah.
no deviation. You don't have to go think about it.
So,
How
Lewis,
can
you
you-
don't get hot. So, do you get mad after you say that? And then they say, so what you mean is you get
What
mad
I-
when, like,
I turn into Nene Leaks.
Ah.
I said what I said.
Oh,
hey, go
my
ahead,
God.
man.
I hate to be in debates. Like, I can't
I
like.
said what I said.
Lewis don't give you no angle to defend him, boy. His lawyer better be like, I did it.
Yeah.
What y'all gonna do?
Yeah.
That's me on camera. His lawyer gonna be in for him, boy.
That's funny.
Like, that's me. That's Lewis. Like, not so. I said that to say. I said that to say, Asia. And I think, first of all, I appreciate the transparency of everybody's like personal relationships and how they maneuver and stuff. I don't know if I could outrun my overthinking. I don't. And I asked that because I like to hear other overthinkers. And you know what's crazy? Some overthinkers are like the most successful people I know.
Mhm.
Like it's like, and what we overthink about is probably on the grand scheme of things on a lower scale of like what really affects us, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if I was texting you and 5 minutes later go by, you didn't text me back, but we was texting back to back after that. I'm like, oh shit, like hold up. Let me go back and read. Did I? That's just me. That's just me. Coming down the home stretch. This one we kind of touched on. Is anybody got anything else on the phone thing?
No.
So we agree that you should look through the phone.
What?
Wait, what?
Hey, my dog crazy, bro.
Yo,
He done been twisting words all night.
like so the last we gonna come down the whole stretch. This is not, this ain't too crazy. So does everybody starts with hey y'all. Does growing apart what? Oh, is growing apart something that happens from growth or lack of effort? How would I know the difference? That's what. So I'm assuming this is in a relationship.
Yeah.
It says,
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
does growing apart? Does growing apart? I think is growing apart something that happens from growth. So I'm gonna try to make this into what I think they're saying. Does growing apart mean that people are actually growing, or you cannot be growing and there's a lack of effort? So we say we're growing apart. Is there a difference in that? How would you know the difference? Lewis, why are you looking like that, bro?
Shit, doesn't matter. Shit, you ready to just leave? You trying to figure out why
Tell
y'all
him,
broke
Lewis.
up?
Tell him, Lewis.
Bro, I'm just asking the questions that came in the DM, bro.
Did you just stop trying, or did I just outgrow you? We ain't meant to be together.
I mean, when you say it like that, that's essentially what it is. Because it
No,
can be
that's what I'm
both.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It can definitely be both.
I'm not trying
Somebody
to...
overthinking over there.
No, I'm not. But I so I need more first. Disclaimer: I need more from where they said that. But like a lack of effort can stem from a lot of things, though. That's like what we just talked about. Like, let's use a buzzword: depression, right? If somebody's experiencing that and there's a lack of effort, does that mean y'all don't need to be together, even if it was an extended period of time?
But I think a lack of effort, though, because in my mind, once again, right, how we define words. Because in my mind, even if somebody's depressed, their partner would then know that they deal with depression. You know what I mean? So I think there would be a communication bit there. And that to me would show that's not a lack of effort, because like, hey, babe, I'm going through a dark time right now, but I'm still at least communicating that with you. I feel like a lack of effort in that would be I stopped communicating. I stopped everything that used to work for us. I no longer do. And I'm no longer trying to find what could work better for us. Like in my mind, that would be like a lack of effort. And that I feel like that's easy to know the difference when they stop doing the things that they used to do, or stop trying to do new things that could work. That's
so how
easy to
long?
identify.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brittany.
Because I'm using that example. I had a friend that actually went through this, and she was depressed, and her partner knew, right? She stopped communicating with him about certain things, and she was just really spiraling from there. He had already known, so it didn't come as a surprise, but he left on some I can't deal with this type thing, right? But for her, it was like I was so bad and so heavy in my depression. I didn't stop communicating to you on purpose. I just was really going through it. So if I communicated this to you at the beginning, why did you leave me at my lowest? You know, and for him, it was more so like, I don't want to deal with this. You know, like, yes, I knew, but I can only give so much. You need to do some individual work for yourself first before you can be in a relationship with anybody, because I'm not willing to sit here, and go through this. So just to use that as a example for your example, Keenan, or your question that you was asking, I really do. I agree that it's one of those things where it's kind of like, where I'm with Lewis. If we're not working, we're not working, you know, like it's not necessarily a lack of effort, right? Because she was really at her lowest point. That's not a lack of effort. That's, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to try. There is no effort to try because I don't know what that looks like. But then for him, it's like, we're not growing together in this relationship because you're in this space and I'm just not willing to. It's not that I don't want to support you. I don't know how, because you don't know how to support yourself. So, there's too many other women out there that are ready for this, what I'm willing to give. So I'm a dip. And when you're ready, if you know, Marcus Houston circles, if it brings us back, then fine. If it doesn't, then we just go our separate ways.
So, hey, Brittany, how long is that window?
What do you mean? What window?
That window from, so say the acknowledgement that I go through depression, I've told you up front, episodes happen, and everything you just said started happening. How long is that grace period till like, yeah, I'm out?
Oh, I don't like to put time on things. That's a good question though. I think it's dwindled down to like, what are you doing something about it, right? Like, and how have I helped you to do something? Are you going to therapy, or are you just coming home just sitting in your mess every single day? Because then it's like, I can only take on a couple weeks, months of this, versus if you're actively trying, you're going to therapy, you're still in this rut. I'm a little more inclined to kind of sit around and see how this plays out, because you are actively doing the work, whether it's working or not. And then I can make a decision whether I want to stay.
Okay. Anybody else got anything on the growth part? Is everybody like, just leave?
You're just trying to figure out why at that point.
I don't know. I feel like if you're a strong person and you started, you have less leeway. If you came in, bat on these things, and you set it up front, you got more leeway. That's just my opinion. But anyway, appreciate you all, man. Another panel, man. Appreciate everybody.